sandwich in every single mouthful.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nadia. Right, still to come, Helen's transforming dry January into try January. She's picked out her top tips and tipples that we should be trying in 2024. And will you vote for Bill's Food Heaven, my take on a Singaporean turnip cake, stir-fried with miso braised pork belly, or his idea of food, how Korean-inspired grilled salmon with...
Should we get started doing a modern shepherd's pie?
Okay.
And first, we're just going to get on with sort of prepping some veg. I'm taking a leek. You're going to do the carrot and some green beans and some celery.
Right, so there's lots of different textures.
Yeah, there's textures, and like the carrots have the sweetness to them, the green beans have the sweetness, and the celery is just a good base flavour, and the leeks have a lovely kind of warm, oniony flavour. So yeah,
nice.
It's quite an unusual idea. I wasn't quite sure how people were going to take it. So yeah, it's great because it has like anecdotes from
There's a good list of well-known famouses.
But each person I take, so it's sort of like David Hockney, Stanley Tucci, my dad and Ringo.
Yeah.
I hear you had a fun story meeting my dad.
Yes.
Someone told me a rumour.
That's right. Yes. I was slightly tongue-tied when I met your dad.
Slightly?
Yes. Quite tongue-tied. Well, the thing is, because, you know, like, everyone's probably said all sorts of things to your dad, and, you know...
Really cool things.
He's Paul McCartney, you know, and it's like... And they probably said things like, I don't want to just say, oh, you're great, I think you're great, you know. I just thought, I've got to try and think up something a bit more eloquent than that. And so I wrote this beautiful piece, you know, this little essay that I'd worked out. And I was trying to say things like, these songs are not just songs that you've written, they're like part of the cultural fabric and all this. But it all came out wrong. Oh, no. It all went totally wrong. And he went, oh, Bill, and I went, yeah. And I said, Paul, I tell you what, this whole speech went out the window. And then I kept saying, your songs like fabric. You know when you weave a, isn't it? And it was just gibberish. And he kept looking at me like, what?
Are you okay?
And then I bailed on the whole thing, and I just introduced him to my friend Kev. Kev's a massive Beatles fan, has been his whole life.
Yeah.
And so I just bailed. I went, anyway, like, having not said anything at all, I went, anyway, Kev looked at me like,
you threw him under the bus.
And then Kev kept it nice and simple.
Kev was speechless. He went, and Kev just started shaking his hand, and then his head went up and down. He went, he must have thought we were a couple of loons, you know. Very
you had an out-of-body experience.
It was an out-of-body experience.
Wasn't your parting shot poking him in the eye?
I did. Well, the thing was, because I kind of, I tried to sort of pull it back, you know, and I tried to tell him about, you know, about sort of gigs, and I thought, and then my voice went weird. It went really high. It went like that, and I thought, I can't talk to him like that. So then I practiced talking like slightly away from him. I was like, like that. And then I started going, I'm making this weird noise. And then he's looking at me like, and he turned round and I went, like I was practicing how to say the next line. Oh, it was mortifying. And then
I'm sure he's seen it before.
My only hope is that I think he thought I was one of the hairy bikers. That's my avowed hope, is that's what happened. He went, that hairy biker was a loon.
Maybe he's watching now and he's thinking, so there's that hairy biker who poked me in the eye.
Is it poked me in the eye? Exactly, I know. It was... anyway, I'm sure we've all had those experiences.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I've done.
I hope.
That smells amazing.
Notice whether it's, you know, meat-free or not. And we've got that lovely tender stem broccoli here with that. I love like lemon and sea salt. It's two of my favourite flavours.
Well, I kind of like those things. I mean,
and olive oil.
I got into veggie haggis.
Oh yeah, because it's all about the spices and the flavour. And this one, because it's got the chilli and the Worcester sauce, it's sort of
We had a bit of a Burns night.
This is a real crowd-pleasing dish, and I love things that you can kind of make and put on the table, and everybody can serve themselves.
Coming, here it comes. Whoa.
Where shall I sit?
Go, Mary, sit down there.
Thank you so much.
There we
Tuck in, everyone.
Here we go.
Right, what have we got here, House?
So nowadays are, but if
That's
you're
such good news.
not sure, just look at the back label or check on the website, because the retailers are much better now at telling you which ones are
I
and
see,
not.
yeah.
Yeah. So
That's delicious.
It's £12 from M&S. It's one of my favourite.
Usually, and I've said this before, sometimes I kind of glaze over.
Glaze over.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you remember that? Do you remember that scene in? Do you remember Snoopy? Or are you too young?
I know, I love
Snoopy, yeah.
And you know with the teacher, they go rah, 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 like that, and you can't actually. Yeah.
This is what happens when I talk about wine.
But this is really nice.
We've known each other too long.
That's it.
literally.
Yeah. Yes.
I can't imagine that with you. You glaze over.
Nod off.
Literally. I have to say to him, concentrate.
Yeah, sorry.
But this bit's important.
Very easily distracted.
Oh, that's very good.
How's the food?
That's really good. Great.
Good, isn't it?
Thank
Really
you.
tasty. It's very
Yeah, I love it.
satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like that little chili kick?
Exactly, yeah. It's got a little bit of extra
Yeah.
warmth to it, which you wouldn't perhaps not get in a different version.
Yeah.
But this is great.
It's beautiful. It's so warming and colourful, but also as well the cooking of the broccoli like that. I always cook broccoli like that. Just a little bit of water, olive oil, butter. That's absolutely amazing.
It kind of
Gorgeous.
keeps it structured, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Delish.
yeah. You don't need to boil it in a big pan of water. That's amazing, Mary.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well
Well done, you.
Cheers, everyone. You got this.
Thanks for that, Marcus. Right, time to find out whether Bill's facing his food heaven or food hell. So it could be food heaven, which was a Singaporean turnip cake.
It's not actually turnip cake. Stop, it's not.
What? Don't change it now.
When you say turnip, people think, oh, turnip. No, it's radish. It's radish cake.
Okay, well-
I hope you've got radish there.
I got big old radish.
That's the one.
Yeah, there you go. So it could be that, or it could be salmon, cooked
Yes.
salmon with all these bits and pieces. What do you
Okay.
think you got?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
64, I think it was. 64% of people wanted to have turnip.
yes, yes.
They're like you. They
Heaven.
want me to really mess this up. I just want to point out that just before we went live here, Michaela, our home ec, just came over and said, boys, just put something on a plate. Which shows you the nature of how much you think.
You don't know what it is. You'll be like,
Right.
oh, that sounds great.
Okay,
going on with this.
right, Paul, could you do
Yes.
this? You do the...
I wouldn't have used pork belly. I'm just saying. That's all.
True.
I would have used Chinese sausage, lap chung.
Really?
Yeah.
Couldn't really get it round in Clapham.
Really? I've got some in my freezer.
Well, thank you. I'm
I could have
gonna
brought it in.
I'm going to do a turnip cake. Right, so you wanted to see this, pay attention.
Radish
So
cake.
this is your turnip. This is your daikon, Japanese radish.
It's not a turnip.
It's a...
It's a flipping radish.
It's called, the dish is called a turnip cake. So this is a radish. Japanese radish, mooli, daikon, call it what you like.
So is it in fact a radish cake?
It is a radish cake, yes.
Can we not split hairs?
And actually, to be honest, it's not actually a cake either.
I'm so intrigued by this recipe now.
Yeah, you put it in one of your books,
You're
Mary.
literally
You're lucky.
blowing my mind with the turnip cake.
You're welcome.
What I love about it is it doesn't use many pots or pans.
Oh, that's handy.
Matt, why could we have not just done the turnip cake with a little dipping sauce?
Because that wouldn't make
great.
great telly, would it? That's why we're here. We go the extra mile, Mary.
I'm very impressed that you're doing this. Thank you, Matt.
You're very
I'm very
welcome.
grateful.
However, you haven't eaten
Feeling
it yet.
love.
I am. I do.
Yeah.
It's a favourite of mine. This dish, and
So what is it? Is it street food?
it's actually it's a celebratory dish that happens at Chinese New Year. So it's kind of like a party food. It's like part of dim
You're
sum.
saying you make it once a year?
But my wife makes it quite often. And she does a lovely version of it. Actually. She does a lovely radish cake. Oh,
Have you ever made them?
I've helped to make it,
Yeah.
yes. But no, but it's part of a kind of there's different versions of it. There's a Chinese version, a Cantonese version, which is.
You know your radish cake.
Oh, I do. They sort of keep it and you chill it overnight and then you cut it up into little squares. Hence
That's exactly
the
what
cake
I'm doing.
Name, and then you sort of fry it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well, the Singaporean version is slightly different, but yeah, I mean, it's essentially the same. You get shrimp and some kind of cured meat, like a sausage or pork belly, maybe even, or spring onion, mushroom, various other things, and then you use rice flour and there you go, miso, all of that. So you've got it.
I googled well.
You googled well.
Right, so when you make this at home, because I know you will, grate up your mooli, radish, your daikon, whatever you want to call it. You put it in some water and you boil it for about sort of 5 minutes. That's going to soften it. Then you strain it after that time. So then you're left with the liquor or the radish water and the hard stuff. Okay, then like Bill said, let's move that aside. Then you get these mix of flours. So we got rice flour, we've got corn flour, we've got tapioca starch, a bit of flour, a bit of salt rather. So we're going to mix those together.
And is that because they all have like different textures and elements while you're using 3?
You know, you asked me that in rehearsal. I said I don't know.
I was kind of giving you the answer in my question.
I don't know is the answer. If anyone can tell me. Bill, ask your wife.
Yes, I will.
I'm sure
I will ask her.
Well, Michaela told me earlier it is because of the different textures of the different flowers.
Oh, did
apparently.
she?
Yeah.
Well done, Michaela.
She told
There you
you
go.
as well. Do you remember that bit when you were like the snippy moment?
Having a little nap.
I wasn't listening.
He doesn't remember cooking a cheese souffle.
I'm old now, so all short-term
That
memory.
was delicious, though. I got.
Right. Okay. So then, what's it?
Are you using the radish water? Because sometimes that can be a
Yes.
bit bitter.
So I don't use.
I'm just saying.
What, that pork belly spits?
It
watch
doesn't it
all right?
spit?
Yeah.
It's not great with a linen shirt. So then, stir this. Do you remember Why Don't You? It feels a bit like Why Don't You?
It does feel like that.
Why don't you try cooking at home? Okay.
Got a hand.
Can I move that? So then, okay.
I can't tell you how much I'm loving this.
Great, I'm thrilled.
It's bringing me so much joy.
This is why we got those really long spoons. So then, get your longest spoon.
Yeah, you have to get one of the longest spoons you can get. You can actually make this dish from another room.
So
Bill, he
then,
said to me in
Oh, my
rehearsal, he said,
goodness.
this turnip cake, it's a bit trumpy, isn't it?
It's
Really
radish
is.
cake. Stop saying turnip.
So then you stir it over heat. So obviously, the flour's going to thicken. The flour's going to thicken. It's going to bring it all together. So then,
I've changed my mind. Make the salmon.
I wish we could. So then thicken it over the stove. Okay, so the flours are going to come together. It then gets put in a little pot. You then steam it for around about sort of 50 minutes. So there's a bit of admin. I can't lie.
A bit of admin.
Involved in it.
A bit of admin.
And then you chill it overnight. So then when you chill, I'm going to do that at stage in a bit. So then you chill it overnight.
This has definitely kept you moving a lot.
What?
A lot. This is definitely keeping you moving, this recipe.
Yeah.
It's so exciting.
It's like, I feel like we need to get a playlist on for you.
We need the Rocky thing.
How many more people does it take to make this?
Okay, so this is thickening.
Is this recipe going to be on the website?
Oh, 100%.
I thought it would be easy.
With the dipping sauce.
I'm so sorry.
So then that's
Next
what it...
time, turnip cake with the dipping sauce.
So look, so this is what it looks like. That then gets steamed. We on that? Yes, brilliant. So then that gets steamed for 50 minutes. In the
Have
fridge.
you ever seen
In the
somebody...
fridge.
Have you ever seen this when you've made heaven for somebody? Has this ever happened?
I'm so sorry. I thought it'd be easy.
Look at this delicious turnip
We
cake.
just get Mrs. Bailey in next time. To
Yes.
make this,
I mean, Chris would knock it out.
So then that... Okay, so... And breathe.
Yeah.
So then you put this into little neat little squares, toss them in some flour. They then get fried. Okay, so the best way to do that is to sort of shallow fry them to get them nice. And in 50 years, it's good to go in with an open mind.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I thought I'd challenge you on it.
We talked about your new show.
All right, then. Well, what I do, in the beginning of the show, I make radish cake for the first time. And I get the audience involved. No. There's lots of music. There's probably more music in this show than any other tour I've done recently.
Come and take the glory now.
And are you interested in what I'm saying?
Just worried
Where are
about
you
this.
going to be doing it?
Where am I touring it? Well, I've toured in New Zealand already.
Yeah. You're particularly looking forward
Well,
to getting to.
actually, do you know what? I've just put on an extra show in Glasgow. So I always love playing Glasgow. I've got a great fondness for it. It was where I did my first ever TV show years ago, a sketch show that was filmed in Glasgow. So, and I spent about 3-4 months in the city getting to know the place and all the eateries and all the rest of it. So I've got 2 shows in Glasgow. I'm looking forward to that. Wow, here it is.
Radish cake.
Radish cake. Wow.
Mary.
Thank
What are we
you.
drinking, Hels?
That's for you. So this is Finca Carello from Majestic. So not in there, but declassified to wine of Spain. So it is, you don't pay as much as you might do if it were from there. Tempranillo, gorgeous, comforting, and I'm exhausted.
You are. You've been sat down.
Oh,
Good Lord.
I mean, you know, it's not like my wife's, but it's very, very nice. Thanks, Matt. This is delicious. I appreciate it.
I'll tell you what, I'd love it. Can you get a recipe sent over and I'll actually have a go at it? That'd be all right. Good luck with the tour.
Thank
you for coming along. And thanks for doing most of the heavy lifting there.
Yeah.
That's all for us today, fortunately, from Saturday Kitchen Live. Thanks to Paul, Mary, Helen, and of course, Bill. All the recipes from the studio on the website, bbc.co.uk/Saturday Kitchen. Excuse me. I've got more Best Bites for you tomorrow morning at 9:45 on BBC Two. And I'll be back here live next Saturday with Freddie Bird and the brilliant new Omani chef, Dina Mackey, plus Susie Ruffle and Tom Allen will battle it out for their food heavens. So enjoy the rest of your weekends. Bye for now.
Cheers.